Hi guys. I came out in the park the second day officially for Romania to get out of lockdown and it took me about 10 minutes to find a place where I didn't have so many people around because people flooded the park. So anyway, I wanted to do this outside because the topic that I choose today is get real about sex, my real. Because remember, everything I say, it's my perspective. I kind of think that it must account for something because for several years I've been working around this topic. However, I don't hold the universal truth. So I want to bring to you four elements today. One is that this is an ongoing practice, and like anything, it's not something that you fix once and then it's done for your life. This is a topic that you address constantly. It's the same with working out, it's the same with nutrition, it's the same with your health, so as with anything. So although a lot of people around me, at least where I live, still treat it as something superficial, shallow, a luxury, a whim, stuff like that, I take it seriously. This is an important part of our lives, and I was listening to somebody, a TED Talk today, mentioning that when it comes to health, sexuality, sexual health is also included. And it is our right, the World Health Organization, which I'm not fond of entirely, but they did say this good thing of many, pleasure is our birthright, so given right, because it's related to health also. Our bodies are wired for pleasure, and it's only in pleasure, not the hedonistic pleasure, just in harmonious in well-being, that's pleasure essentially, can we grow, can we expand, can we thrive. And this is a daily practice, a daily focus, just like many other things, or at least a recurring one. If you can't focus on this topic daily, then recurrently. That's still the same. The second subject that I want to bring today is the fact that you should always seek inspiration, seek a community or a person that is a little more ahead of you with whatever you consider your own level, and follow them, watch them, do what they do whenever you can and whenever you feel that it also applies to you, because you still have to filter everything. But take motivation from elsewhere. And the bottom thing here is that we are social beings and we do everything in groups, and we work with one another on this. And even though sexuality is very intimate, addressing it can also be done within a group or with another person in a working space. So it's not just in your intimate relationship with your partner. Obviously, that's where you enjoy it the most. But you can work on things outside of that relationship. And I do encourage people to take inspiration and motivation and energy and support from wherever they can. They don't have to fight this topic alone or work on it alone or do it alone. I mean, you don't have to be the lonely wolf or the lonely she-wolf, especially for women, because I can hold space much better for women because I live in a woman's body. It's always going to be primordial to me, because we inherently translate everything that we live through our body. And I think relinquishing our body or saying that it's not so important as many other paths do, I think that's cutting out an important part of our experience. And so I can also help men, even though I'm not in a man's body, but there's a limitation there, obviously. And the third thing is that whenever you realize that you've fallen off the wagon, don't necessarily quit, okay? You've fallen off the wagon, okay, you can always get back on. So I'm not the perfectionist type, especially when it comes to sexuality. I don't believe in the pressure that we always have to be perfect, we always have to be good, and we always have to, perform and be in our optimal shape, because that's not realistic, that's not human. So whenever we see that something isn't working for us, that's okay. We can We can have bad days. We can have less how do I say this? Less optimal days. Our bodies can go through various processes, our minds, our psyches. So that's not a problem. I mean, the important thing is that whenever we see ourselves having gone astray, we just get back to our path, and that's it. I mean, we don't have to quit altogether because, wow, I've been failing at this for a week or 2 weeks or 2 months. No, you get back on whenever you realize, wow, I'm not doing this great. No problem. And if you need inspiration, go back to step number 2 and always seek somebody around you that can inspire you. Temporarily, in the long run, whatever. And the fourth thing, this one is this one goes to mindset and to a lot of stuff that I see that people are doing, in my opinion, destructively. And that is, they're not real with themselves and they just don't assess themselves right. If you are the kind of person like I was, that wasn't exactly raised in a sexually thriving environment, that my country wasn't that way, I gotta be honest. Where I live, the culture back in the 80s when I was a kid, also in the 90s when I was a teenager, it wasn't that great. Like, sexually speaking, it was not healthy. Yeah, people had sex, but it doesn't mean that it was in the highest way, and it doesn't mean that the messages out there were constructive. So if you were like me, growing up in that kind of environment, don't compare yourself to somebody that grew in a different mindset, frame, family setting, loving setting, emotional setting, and so on. So don't do that. It's not effective, it's not efficient, it's not even wise. I mean, always evaluate yourself and see where you are and what you can do from there. You can take inspiration from others, like I said in step number 2. Just don't compete or don't compare yourself to others. Don't feel threatened by others because you're not them. And if there's any way that you definitely mess up your own life, is where you let other people's experiences negatively affect your own relationship to your body, to yourself, to your intimacy, to your sexuality. So take inspiration, don't compare, okay? And if you want to compare yourself to yesterday, to the day before yesterday, compare to yourself to what you were 10 years ago and so on. And remember that the future is not written yet, you write it yourself. So whatever you do with your sexuality or with your pleasure, that's the only thing that matters. And I'll give you an example from my day. Today, after about a week or so, I had another practice with my ladies, the orgasmics. And we were supposed to do jade egg. I'm with my moon, so I couldn't. So I said, you know what, ladies, I'm not kind of feeling it so well. So why don't we do something else? And we did breath work. And yeah, we breathed. I think that's right. I'm not a native English speaker, so I have my doubts. So we breathed intensely in a certain way, in a specific way. And we didn't do it for too long because our brains are... I think I just got a fly in my mouth. So our brains were not used to that much oxygen. And I don't normally do, and I don't usually do breath work. So I took ourselves lightly, and boy, it was amazing. And yeah, it was like 10 minutes, but that was all I needed for today. And that's the essence that I want to get to. I mean, if we're going to get real here, then this is it. Whatever you decide to do, whatever you can do one day, do that. That's your practice. That's your pleasure practice, and that's going to help you in the long run for your sexual expression as well. And don't judge yourself. It was too little. It was less than I did a month ago. It was less than I did yesterday. It was too much. Like, I'm going to take a break tomorrow. Don't think that way. Just do whatever you feel is okay, and then don't do it anymore. That's it. It's a moment thing. So be present in the moment. And that's the only thing that matters also in sexuality, the present moment. It's always there. It's always, that's where the orgasm is, that's where pleasure is, that's where deep connection is, that's where deep vulnerability is, always in the present moment. always, and being present with your body, with your emotions. And it only takes a space for you to do that by yourself or with somebody else, with a group, with your lover. So these are my 4 keys. So number 1, it's a recurring thing. It's not one time fix it and that's it. Second, find somebody to take inspiration from. Number 3, whenever you realize you've fallen off the wagon, get back on. And number 4, it's not what others do, it's what you do. So don't compare to others, take inspiration, and that's it. So I hope this helps. This is my getting real when it comes to sexuality, and me being in this beautiful place. Let me show you a bit around. They haven't cut the grass yet here. They kind of did where I'm sitting, so yeah. And I like really wild, untamed, uncut grass and weeds. I like that. I'm gonna miss this place the way it used to be. It was really raw during the pandemic. I was kind of illegal. Yes, I came into the park by myself. If anybody wants to find me, fine, whatever. But I loved the wild grass and the wild trees, the wild bushes, everything. So yeah, it's part of my wiring also. So guys, that's it. This is me reporting to you live from the wild grasses of Bucharest. I'll see you soon. Bye.